Hey everybody. So today we're going to talk about one of Jesus's stories. And before we get started, there's going to be a part where we need some supplies. And if you have the supplies already, great. We need a little rock or two, a bigger rock. Doesn't have to be as big as the one there, but something bigger than your little rock and flat helps. A plastic flat container, some things to decorate with, so markers, colored pencils, crayons, anything your parents say is okay to decorate with. And towards the back of my picture, I have a cup of water, and you can't see it buried back there, but I have the same size cup that you could put sand in, or I have potting soil in mine. And finally, it would be helpful to have a paper towel or a regular towel for a little bit of cleanup after the story. So Jesus told lots of stories called parables, and these stories were to teach people about things that they might know from their lives and help them understand God through those stories. So you might remember a story about the Good Shepherd taking care of his sheep, or you might remember another story about a farmer planting seeds and the different things that affected them being able to grow. I don't know if you remember those. If not, maybe you could go look them up. But these types of stories sometimes aren't so easy for us to understand because I don't know about you, but I am not a farmer and I am not a shepherd. So we keep studying these stories from the Bible so that we can understand them and they can be helpful to us today in understanding God and understanding Jesus. So after Jesus had told lots of stories and worked miracles and was spending time with all sorts of people, he told them this next thing. And the very beginning of it refers back to the different things that he's taught them. Everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on a rock. There's my little house. The rain came down and the streams rose up and the wind blew. But that house, whoop, that didn't do my illustration. I guess if it was a hurricane with lots and lots of rain, maybe not. But that house stayed on that rock, safe and sound. And that's because it was built on that rock. Well, after that, he told them that if you don't listen to the things that he tells you, that Jesus has told them, then you might be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. So that man built his house on the sand, and the rain came down, and the streams came through, and little by little, with the wind blowing and more rain flooding, that house fell down. So that is our way of remembering this story, by doing it. So I wonder, what was it that Jesus was trying to teach people from that story? And I wonder what might be happening in your life that you think is like that story. How can we be people that build our lives or our houses on rocks instead of the mushy-gushy sand? Okay, so now we have reset. I'm good. I'm gonna take my big rock that got all wet. I'm gonna dry it off if that's the one I want to decorate. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna decorate rocks. And one of the things that this story made me think about, and some other stories in the Bible about rocks, which I might tell you some other time, maybe think of how Jesus and God and church are kind of like rocks sometimes for us. They help us feel like we have a place where we belong, where people care about us, where God is nearby and everyone is thinking about God. And I was thinking about how much I miss seeing all of you and seeing all the other people at church, and that I look forward to when everything is in a better place so that we can be back together again, because it's just not the same talking to you through videos or through Zoom or on the phone, and I miss being with you. So I bet you a lot of the people at church miss seeing all of you as well. And I was thinking something we could do that would be really neat when we get back to church after enough time passes is we could decorate some rocks. Some of you might be decorating rocks in your neighborhood anyway, and you could use crayons or you could use markers, and you can write things on them. And if you have trouble writing, you can either ask your mom and dad to help you spell things, or you could do all the just decoration of the rock, and you could have your mom or dad put words on it. On this one, I wrote the word peace. And there are words in the Bible that give us hope and comfort, and those are the kinds of words that I was thinking we could put on these. So I like to say peace to people because it's a feeling of just knowing that no matter what's happening, you're going to be okay, and especially that God is with you. I think I said another word, hope, and that's another one that I think is important for people to know, that they have hope in God's love, and they have hope to be able to be back together again, and hope to be with friends. And so I'm going to put hope on this one. So I had thoughts like doing like love or joy, peace. Patience is kind of a hard, big word to put on a rock, so maybe not that one. Grace, that's what it means that Jesus died for us and loved us so much that he was willing to die so that we might have his love and his forgiveness even if we don't deserve it. That's what grace is about. And so if you can think of some of those words that you might be able to put on these rocks, then what we'll do is at some point I'll collect these back up, maybe when we know we're getting close to being able to be back together, and we'll put them on all the seats in the sanctuary. And when people come in, it'll be like a little present that reminds them of the strength and stability of relying on God, and that people from church love them and miss them and want to encourage them. So if you can do one, you can keep it at home, you can do a whole bunch of them, and you can send some of them to church, keep some of them at home, send them to your relatives, or sorts of things you can do. So if you want to do that, you could do it with paint too, if your parents say that's okay. But know that there are lots of different ways you can decorate these, and after you decorate them, somebody will be really excited and surprised to know that you were thinking of them. All right, I'm going to say a quick prayer. Say, dear Lord, thank you so much. I feel like even when we're scared, that, dear Lord, we just pray that you would be with grace and that you would sustain us through this. Be with you all. Talk to you soon.